So I've spent the last 20 odd years in the recruitment and HR sector. I started out at the bottom of the ladder in a small industrial branch of Adecco. I had a fantastic manager there, a fantastic team. That led to a regional role for me where I ended up working on projects, experiments, optimization, and I think that's where I developed my curiosity for and my drive to make things better and launch technology. I spent the last 8 to 10 years in different management and leadership roles. I've run shared services functions, marketing teams, analytics teams, but the theme has always been optimization, experimentation, innovation, trying new things, seeing if you can crack it and make it better. It's what led me, I guess, to the Antler program now, where I'm part of a program where I'm part of a startup generator, and I've always had the burning passion to do something on my own. I've always wondered if I could. I felt quite often frustrated in corporate roles where I felt a bit unable to do the things I would have loved to do, and that's what led me to join the Startup Generator and see if I can build my own HR tech company, which will be launching quite soon. Be lying if I said anything about my career has been extremely deliberate and well planned. I've never been the type of person that could answer the question, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years' time? I've always been a bit more go with the flow with my career. Lots of my opportunities have come about through my network, through following inspiring leaders. I can think of a few people in my career who've really made a difference and have got me to where I am today. I would say just putting my hand up for all different opportunities. I put my hand up when I was quite young for an opportunity in France, for instance, and just putting my hand up for things that perhaps I didn't always feel qualified to do. But I've always sort of had the mantra, what's the worst that can happen? So I guess that's what's led me to where I am now. In terms of the best but maybe jolting career advice I've had, I remember one of my leaders in one of the recruitment companies that I admired enormously saying that I was in danger of my career plateauing. And that was a bit of a kick up the bum, I guess, to take on board that feedback and think, well, was I happy to stay where I was, and was this as high as I could ever see myself going, and was I satisfied with where I was? And I think from that point onwards, I made a conscious effort to learn as much as possible, to educate myself, to read, to network, and never really sit still. So I don't know about career advice per se, but that was a moment where I thought, no, I think you're wrong, and that spurred me into action. Maybe that was just belligerence. What do you wish you knew when you started your career? I think for me, I started university and realised quite quickly it really wasn't the right path for me. But I guess when I looked at people I admired, I always thought they knew exactly what they were doing, and that if I didn't have a degree or if I didn't follow a certain path, I'd never go anywhere. And I'd say if I had realised how far my tenacity would get me, I wonder if I should have been 10 times more tenacious. None of us really know what we're doing in our career. Very few people have a deliberate plan, and accidents most people are here quite by accident. There's not many people with deliberate plans. What's the biggest mistake you ever made? I am not a big believer in fate. I don't really dwell too much on any mistakes I've made. I think I'm exactly where I should be right now. I would say there have been a couple of jobs in my career where I let my ego get the better of me, and I took roles where I just knew, I knew instinctively that the company wasn't quite right for me, or the hiring manager wasn't quite right for me, and I let my ego override that, and I took a role that I felt would be great to tell everyone I had, and I've made a couple of mistakes there. I've also sat in roles a bit too long where I felt really unhappy or really like I knew that this wasn't the right place for me, and I wish in a couple of roles I'd acted a bit sooner on that feeling rather than get to the point where I felt so miserable it was almost hard to get out of that situation. So no big regrets, but I wish I'd listened to my instincts a bit more and a bit more quickly in the past. What do you think has been the key to your success? Well, as I said before, I think being brave even when you don't feel like being brave, asking lots of questions, networking, being bold, feeling fear and doing it anyway, as that saying goes. I also think I've only ever really been as successful as the team around me, and I've had some fantastic team members and bosses in my life, and I think I've stuck to the really good leaders, and I've done my best to make sure that the fantastic people in my teams have stuck with me, and I've always tried to have as much fun as possible in jobs. So I've always tried to seek opportunity within jobs, and I've always tried to encourage people in my teams to seek opportunity, and I guess flex and tailor their jobs to make sure that as much as possible they have fun, and they enjoy work. I think we spend so much time at work. Why wouldn't you want to have some fun along the way?